Well, for the other side of the aisle, let's bring in Republican Congresswoman from New York and member of the House Foreign Affairs and Small Business Committees, Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, I want to pick up right where your colleague left off with Jillian, talking about what are the options. It appears that an invasion is imminent as soon as February. Do you believe that there are options still to engage?
Yeah, this is a very tricky situation. I think because of the weakness that President Biden has projected and the weak diplomacy that Jillian actually alluded to in the prior interview, the Biden administration has known Putin has been maneuvering around the border and various locations around Ukraine for a long time, and chose not to take strong action. And I don't mean by sending troops in to cause any kind of conflict, because the last thing the Europeans and the Americans want is conflict on their continental soil. So one of the issues, though, is we could have brought troops, or we could have brought Navy ships in. We could have been much stronger with sanctions early on. We could have put more lethal aid in that would actually mean something to Putin, and make sure that we actually have deterrence. Because the last thing we want is to have spend money and more time and troops into it in another disastrous situation. And the Russians and Putin are smart. They're learning from what happened in Afghanistan. They're seeing that we're weak on China, that we're not really protecting and defending our allies. They're seeing Germany obviously succumbing on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is something that they're backing off on and not really helping us. And then President Biden greenlighted Nord Stream 2, which is, like, to be clear, Nord Stream 2 with the Germans and bypassing the ability for Eastern Europe to have a direct benefits on any of this. Remember something about this. This was a malign Russian influence project. It is not really commercially feasible. It's more about using fuel and using energy as a weapon. And unfortunately, as we go back to the Green New Deal and try to eliminate the usage of fossil fuels, Russia isn't stopping doing that, nor is China.
So, Congresswoman, ultimately, if Russia does indeed, as we believe, invade, what price can we really make Putin pay?
Well, at this point, we have swift sanctions on the financial system. We can cut him off that way. Right now, we're so weak on energy. We were energy independent. We were exporting our energy, building our economy, which are important aspects of any diplomacy. Right now, we're in a really bad situation with President Biden and the weakness we're projecting, and not making the United States strong. I mean, we can send troops in, but Putin sees a real opening here, and I'm not sure the Biden administration really has the will to deter this situation. It could get ugly. We know that it's probably going to be after the Olympics. That's typical. The Russians have done this before. Coincidentally, after an Olympic Games, a Winter Olympics, they've moved into other countries. And yet we were weak all the other times, particularly with Crimea, when President Obama and Vice President Biden at the time really just did nothing about it. And I think we could have prevented this, but I'm concerned about the real weakness and the inability to really come up with solutions at this point.
Congresswoman, let me just turn and shift gears a little bit, because you are from New York, and as we all watched, one of the two officers Rivera and Mora, killed in New York City. Rivera laid to rest. Mora's funeral will be later in the week. Your thoughts as President Biden will head to New York City for a event to push to get stricter on guns, but is there more you hope to see from him?
Yeah, my deepest condolences to the families and to anyone who serves and answers that precious call to serve our nation and to serve in the police force, especially now with so much hostility towards our police and the lawlessness that we're seeing, particularly across the country with these criminal justice reforms, or so-called reforms, that have really hurt our communities. It's not only unsafe in New York City, it's unsafe in upstate New York. And President Biden and unfortunately the new mayor are talking about gun control. And we have some of the strictest gun laws in the nation in New York, and particularly New York City, and that hasn't stopped this kind of violence. We don't prosecute gun crimes. We don't prosecute offenders who eventually go on to take advantage of the system. So I'm really concerned, and I've called for our governor, Kathy Hochul, to remove Alvin Bragg, the newly elected district attorney. She has the power to do that. He has stated and put out a memo that he will not follow New York law. And this is going to leave New York City and the rest of our communities unsafe. And it goes to the very bottom line of we have to defend and protect our laws, something Biden isn't doing at the border. This is a real problem. And I hope Biden stands up for the rule of law.
We shall see. The governor saying she has, quote, options, talking to the New York Post. We'll be following it. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, thank you for your time.
Thank you.